Sriram, sir.
Very good evening.
Okay, so I welcome you all in today's Kanban session, and where our speaker Sriram Mohan Vadavalli will demonstrate how to effectively use Kanban and also share some tips. Sriram Mohan Vadavalli has 18 plus years of industry experience, software industry experience. He is certified ITIL version 3, certified Scrum Master, and certified Scrum Product Owner. He is currently working in a consumer goods company as demand manager, portfolio and data platform governance, SPOC. He is self-driven, goal-oriented technical program manager with lots of experience in project management, including waterfall, Scrum, and Agile. Managed service operations, and he has also been looking into ERP, ECM, CRM, ITSM tools, customer lifecycle management, product self-care portals, BSS, and telecommunication domain healthcare. He has already worked in Satyam, Tech Mahindra, TCS, TechWave, the consulting service industry, and also in product-based in the companies. So, on behalf of PMI Mumbai chapter, PITSTOP team, Sriram, I welcome you for this session, and we are looking forward, understanding Kanban. All
Okay,
yours, Sriram.
thank you so much. First of all, good evening to everybody. Let me clear out two things. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I think
Can you speak a little loud, Sriram? I think if you can come a bit closer, that will be great.
okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah, better. Yeah, much better. Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good evening to everybody, and thank you for summarizing my career, Rupali. Thank you so much, and thank you PMI Pit Shop team for this opportunity to share my experiences in Kanban and add value to your learning the realistic way. Through this session,
Your voice has become feeble again. If you can.
maybe I should take a mic then. Give me a minute. I'm really sorry. I tested it, but it may be the bandwidth, I believe.
Yeah, now it is better. Yes, I think when you keep it closer, it's better.
Yeah, fine. Then I'll give the session this way. Maybe
Yeah.
I need to restrict myself from not sharing the, I mean, not starting my video. Then it might go for a toss.
Yeah, right. Don't start video. Correct.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, and through this session, I aim to take you through the agile mindset once again and introduce you to the Kanban with some real-time implementations. And I will be glad to clear any questions regarding Kanban within the practical experiences by the end of the session. And would love to learn together with you if there is any new scenario that you can ask about. Right? Let's start. So the agenda would be simple. I want to stress on simple a bit more. You will know why. The agenda is agile mindset and an overview, Kanban overview, when and where Kanban, how Kanban using real-time tool Jira, and some pitfalls that we can avoid, and lastly the questions. So probably you may know what is agile by now, but to get to the Kanban, let's recollect it a bit, which will be useful. As I said, agile is a mindset, and the term agile in software is a set of values and principles written by 17 software developers in year 2001. The Agile Manifesto has 4 values and 12 principles, which you can see on the slide. It speaks about individual and interactions over processes and tools, and a working software over comprehensive documentation, customer collaboration over contract negotiation, and responding to change over following a plan. Does this mean that we don't plan in Agile? No, it is definitely not. The focus is mainly on responding to the change than following a plan which is already set. So there is a slight difference, and while we go forward, you will understand it better. And the 12 agile principles that we are talking about, if I have to say, the customer satisfaction is first. The first we need to satisfy the customer and welcome change, even late in the development, and frequent delivery, and we have to work together, and they should have motivated individuals, face-to-face conversations, a working software, a constant pace of delivery, a continuous attention to what is important than what is not required, away from the traditional ways of working. Then my personal favorite is keep it simple. Delivering any expectations is simple, but staying simple is hard. And then self-organized teams is one of the principles. And my second favorite, the team should reflect on how to become more effective and adjust its behavior accordingly. So these are the principles that we always keep in mind when we're talking about delivering delivering any requirements as such, be it agile or be it anything. These are the principles that can always drive a team to success. So moving on. So once these principles and after the manifesto was validated suddenly, many of the alternative processes away from traditional methods seems to be sharing the characteristics of Agile Manifesto. And you can see some of the processes as in the slide. Like Scrum, you can see obviously that's the most popular one. The XP, Extreme Programming, Crystal, and Kanban, and many other are there. And Lean as such, which talks about eliminating waste and focus on what is needed. So these all have seems to be sharing the same characteristics of Agile Manifesto, and then they all fall under this umbrella of Agile. So moving on, here is my Kanban board. So I did not even start what is Kanban, and I opened up a board. But I'll come to that. As assumption is that I'm a single team, and these are my tasks as a single team member, and it has 5 items to be delivered, and I have listed them based on priority. Does it make sense? It will a lot when we move along. It's a simple board with 3 sections in it. To do, in progress, and done. So Kanban is a popular framework which requires real-time communication of capacity and full transparency of work. Work items are presented visually on a Kanban board, allowing team members to see and state of every piece of work at any time. Kanban, what is Kanban? Kanban is simply a signal and a card. Kan means signal and Ban is card. The board speaks it all. On the right-hand side, you can see the position of the task on the board. So the overview was before this slide, the overview was in to do. Since that we are working on that, I moved this overview task to my in progress. Right? So the Kanban gets a lot of ideas from manufacturing industries. Writer production system is a famous adoption. The system uses Kanban, the signal cards, as I said, as a way to signal when you need it to pull more product into the pipeline. That's why Kanban is called a pull system. This means that you pull more products based on when there is an increase in demand. The goal was to better align the massive inventory levels with the actual consumption of materials. To communicate capacity levels in real time on the factory floor, workers would pass a card, the Kanban card, between the teams. When a bin of materials being used on the product line was emptied, a Kanban was passed to the warehouse describing the material was needed, the exact amount of this material, and so on. The warehouse would have a new bin of these materials waiting, which then then be sent to the factory floor, and in turn send their own Kanban to the supplier. The supplier would also have a bin of this particular material waiting, which it would ship to the warehouse. While the signaling technology of this process have evolved since 1940s, the same just-in-time or deep manufacturing process is still at the heart of it. As illustrated in the system diagram, the unit signaling process runs through a Kanban process, both internal and external. Like here, so the manufacturing moves from supply to inventory, raw materials move to production line, production to assembly line, inventory, finished goods, and then the customer. It was on the dock where it will be shipped to the customers. And then the Kanban parts, when there is a shortage of the product in the shelf, then a card will be passed on to the inventory of finished goods, where they will be pulling more product into the system for customers. So likewise, the chain continues whenever there is a shortage or whenever the current pipeline is filled, then it will ask the assembly line to assemble more products. So it does in a batch-wise way. So likewise, it will go all the way to supplier and even more if required as per the process says. And apart from our simple Kanban board on the right-hand side top, there is another Kanban board which is already shown. This is how complex it can get, and definitely there are other boards also which are even complex than what I'm showing here on the right-hand side bottom. So moving on, so when we can actually use Kanban. So please notice that Kanban board, where the first topic is moved to done state now, and the second topic is moved to in progress on the right hand. Even if there is a late joiner to the session, they can easily understand that we have finished the first topic and we are in the second topic. That's the power of simplicity, and that's the feature of the Kanban board. Right? Coming to when Kanban, if you understand the entire system, we can figure it out that everything is a cycle of inputs and outputs. What is expected output from the inputs given? We just put everything else in between to achieve that. If you map the requirements and capabilities on a scale from known to unknown and clear to unclear on the technology stack, we can choose the relevant processes to achieve the outputs for given inputs. The key is not to forget the values and principles in the process while choosing it or practicing the process. Look at this graph. We have 5 regions based upon the technology and requirements mapping that we have done. So on the x-axis, it is a technology, like how, like we know what to implement, and or we don't know how to implement it. And coming to the requirements on the y-axis, are we clear with the requirements, or are we still unclear with the requirements? And there is a gray area in between, like we know something and we don't know most of the thing, or we know some of the things but we don't know all of them, kind of thing. Okay, so if you look at the region when it is at a simple zone, as you can see, simple where the requirements are clear and how to do it is also clear. So we can adopt, but not limited to the traditional waterfall. Not limited in the sense, like we can use any agile framework or any framework it doesn't make big difference when everything is clear. We just follow the process follow the process as dictated or as agreed upon by the company. Okay, and then comes complicated areas with two regions. With the scope of unknown technological factors, we should go for any popular agile method. Again, both company and team should align to the principles of the agile and processes of chosen methodology. So if you're thinking of Kanban and applying Scrum, it won't work out. So it will eventually fail. So when we choose something like this, like when there is even a little chance of unknown requirements is there, or we don't know what to do, then probably we should adopt to an agile methodology. Anything which can be used properly. That pretty much doesn't make much of a difference there. And the other complicated region with clear and unclear requirements due to social and political factors. There's something which we cannot control or plan or understand it at an early stage, like taxation or taxation projects or anything like that. Anything which has to involve social or political factors. There is a area where it can get complicated. We don't know it yet. It is unclear about that. We go in a particular path, but requirements turn out to be not matching with the region that we are in, kind of a thing. Okay, as the requirements and implementations are more or less same, every process has guidelines. The choosing an agile framework I'm talking about, every process has guidelines on how we can deal with them. Can't I use a waterfall here? Yes, I can use a waterfall there, but there are limitations where waterfall will fail. But powerful processes like PMP or anything has guidelines how to overcome that. It's been there since forever by now, and so they have proper guidelines how to come out of that situation. But there will be a lot of delay if you talk about the golden triangle, which I did not cover in here. But the cost schedule and requirements. They don't go pretty much parallel. One decreases, the other one increases. So waterfall does speak about overcoming that, but it is costlier, or it may be delayed in some cases, or we need to compromise on the quality of the product that we're trying to give. So that is kind of a gray area. And Agile has a ready-made answer for that. Any of the processes can help out come out of the situation, or give us guidelines what to do in such situations, and then move forward. So and then this complex region is there, and the most of the things are unclear. We don't know what to do. So most requirements are unclear, like we just got the problem statement and the minimal requirements and how to do it. Have no clear guidelines. Then the best is Scrum, but it is not a limitation, as I said before. Actually, Scrum breaks down the product to smaller chunks that can be delivered in small iterations. What does it mean? No, it is not Scrum Plus. I'm not going to do that. So it has the capability of breaking down and then giving it in small iterations. So that is the best method to use. And then of course the Kanban has an ability to tackle such complex projects as well. So going forward, I'll show, when I show it how we do it, then probably you'll understand it better. And then comes the chaotic region. When we have unknown requirements and unclear approach to be taken, then Kanban serves the best. Just add only those requirements which are clear, which has clear requirements, and then team knows what to do, and follow the rest of unclear requirements and unclear technology on a business analyst or a PO Kanban board. We just move it from one board to another board. That's it. So like in the factory thing I've shown before, it just moves from one board to another board. Something which is not clear will go to a different board. It won't vanish at all. So there is a track of what is happening in that. And we can refer to this diagram as just a cheat sheet or a reference to see which processes can be simpler to use, but it does not dictate to use in such circumstances. Please don't think that this is what I'm going to use because this graph shows that and Shriram told me like that. No, you have to use your best judgments to do that. Okay, I'll be moving on. So where do we use Kanban? Where Kanban? So I want to tell you a small experience that I had. Around 2009, that was when I was returning from vacation to office. Okay, I was given a new seat at reception. It was alarming. Why they have given me a new seat? And then when I entered the floor, I see there were around 10 to 12 whiteboards newly popped up, like mushrooms in some areas of the office. I had no clue what's going on. Suddenly, my colleague called me and asked me to join a stand-up meeting near to a particular board, and then discussed few things which were like I understood few, and few did not very much. At the end of the session, my colleague gave me a stick note from the board asking me to give it back when your team completes the task on the notes. Like you did. I said, what? What is this all about? But soon I met a few people and understand what's going on. And after a few weeks, I was distributing stick notes to half of those teams every morning with a huge dependency on their name. But guess what? We couldn't keep up, and stick notes lost its gum, just like the interest to do it. It was very chaotic. Every day some of the stick notes were missing, and we had to rewrite and then put it on the board. Figuring out what had happened. It was fun, but scary too, because it was linked to our appraisals, right? Everybody has. The idea was supposed to be an expert Kanban consultant. Like keeping the boards, using the stick notes and all. He gave us right direction though, actually. He led us, he gave the mindset of a Kanban, as I was telling you, agile mindset and a Kanban mindset he has given. But he gave us a wrong tool actually. That was best. The stick notes was best at that time. I don't know who invented that. Maybe I might have researched it a little more, but it never worked out. And then there were some magnetic stick boards and a difference. But you are increasing the office space, man. Look at today. Where are Kanban boards if you are using one? We're all home, sitting and working from home, so it won't work out, right? It really doesn't make any sense. If it is not digital, we cannot do that. And then we moved to a board, and then we moved all the boards to conference rooms from where they came from, and designed our own tool. We had a tool for a traditional waterfall method, and we enhanced it a little, and then created a small dashboard kind of a thing, and linked few statuses there, and then created our own Kanban board. But my perspective changed when we moved the tool. When this tool-based Kanban Kanban apple fell on my head. I started to see the usage of it everywhere. Actually, it was there in McDonald's, KFC's. Oh God, I think I am hungry. Okay, wedding planning, vacations, coffee shops, grocery stores, etc. Everywhere it can be used as long as we have board, as long as we have a set process and a stage-wise. We can divide that work into stage-wise things. So we can use a Kanban board there. And believe me, after that, there was Scrum again. First Kanban was introduced, and it was like a bigger than a 2K problem, for my company. As one of the tier one customers wants to implement Scrum now, all of a sudden, which will add value, and it was a chaos. Of course, the rules are different from what is Kanban, what we tried to adopt and then tried to understand and started working. Then they dropped the bomb, like, okay, start using Scrum, and then you can see how people reacted. You can imagine that. But this is not Scrum session. Understand that. These were actually immature processes at that time, and the guidance was very minimal and very costly. So that's the reason we couldn't manage it properly initially, but later we mastered it and moved to a tool. Okay, let's move the board as well. I already moved it. Let's move the board, and let me demonstrate the live Kanban board using Jira. I'll take you to a Jira live Jira board now. I think I'm on schedule. Let's see. I'm down to fourth task on how Kanban. And the other tools also that you can look at, look for Zoho projects and Toggle Plan, YT, you track, and Smart Sheet. It's pretty much the same. The principles are the same, and everything is the same. So choose your tools wisely. So I'll just escape it and then move to our Kanban board. Okay. So this is what I'm trying to illustrate. It may be very small. Let me pick it up. Start with the board. So you can see a similar Kanban board what I was explaining. It has it has some some blocks here like which we need to move. So new, backlog, in progress, review, dependency, completed. So you might be wondering like how I should actually start a Kanban board. As I said earlier, but before I go to there, in the current scenario, in the current market, when you join a company or when you're given a project already, the OPAs and everything are already set, and they will give you a board to follow actually. So you need not really start everything from scratch. But it's good to know like how do we set up all these things? What are the bricks? What are the construction bricks that made this huge process? Simple process, but tool wise, it's a bit complicated and user friendly as well. Once you set it up, so the whole point is to keep things simple. And also definitely we need to give value to the customer, so we need to add little weight to it definitely. So so now coming back to how to start a Kanban board, what, as I said before, it's always input and output, and output. So what is the input for it? Input is your requirements. So what we did is, okay, we started getting, give me what you want to do. So we are a particular department in a company. So we do so many things. So if you want anything, please raise a task for us, and we'll put it on our production line on our Kanban board, and then we'll try to cater it for you. So that's very simple, right? But they started giving us so many things, right? Which we even don't know. What I know might be completely strange thing to the team that is trying to handle it. Though it is something that we can cater, it is from our menu card, but still, the requirement seems to be not understandable. So we created something called as a form where it can be where they can fill in the form just like the way we wanted it, and then we take care of it until it is delivered. So a simple form looks like this. It will have a traditional acceptance criteria, and summary, and a description, like description of the things, like what a detailed description of what exactly they want to do, and estimates. They can fill in estimates in their point of view, but it will be always change back based upon the complexity of the requirements and the time. You know, the impact. Complexity and impact are two key factors that we use to prioritize a particular ticket or a particular request or anything like that, right? So, and then a reporter, like whoever has the access to this Jira will their name will come, but I can also change it if I want to raise it on behalf of somebody else. Okay, and then these fields, initially you mightn't have seen all these fields here. You know, the priority, what the priority they think, and labels. I'll come to labels later on. And split from, you will see so many things on that. But in general, if you have to keep it simple, it is like what is that you're trying to achieve, like what is the summary of that one, and what is the description, like what is that you are looking for, and what you want to do with it, kind of thing. Some description related to that. I'll show you an example, okay, at a later stage. And the acceptance criteria, as far as the agile says, like, you know, what at the end, what is that you are looking for, you know, the set of agreed things that you want to see at the end of this card, the Kanban card, I would say. And then there are something like story, epic, blah 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 is there, which I'll tell you in a minute. So once they fill the form, it will come to the new bucket here. You know, once I fill and create it, it will come up here. You know, it might not make any sense to you, but I'll show you this one. Okay. The description is RNG project is not able to read Excel files with ordinary library versions, blah, 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 something is there. Okay. And then acceptance criteria is none, which is actually not good in my point of view. But in the subject, the summary says emailed issue, update libraries for RGM cluster. RGM is probably the team that they have agreed upon. So it goes to such deep level, you know. So once you are in the system, once you understand the tool and set these parameters, and then you start getting these inputs from the requesters, it makes a lot of sense. You know, it is for your team, so you will know what you want to do. But for others, it might not be the case, because it's a new system, new thing, like it's the first day of the school, kind of, you know. So, and then it will come to you. I'll just give you the idea of what to do. So I'll just add the few parameters to identify here. Like I'll move it to the person who has to do. I'll assign somebody looking at their availability for this sprint, or I mean availability for this period, or expected. There is an expected date also we have set. Somewhere here, last comment, there should be an expected date, which is not reflecting here. Anyway, there will be an expected date for that. So by then, who is free, and then we'll try to assign it on the board. So my simple board says that I'm the only team member. I'm the only team, and I'm the only team member. But here you can see there is a lot of team members are here. And if I look at the dashboard here, so I'll see the distribution of the people, how the work is divided among them. So you can see some of the people here. I'm not supposed to show, but since it is a real-time one, but I'm just showing it. There's no content that anybody can steal from here, so it's fine. So it says issues. He has Abhishek, as an example, has 9 issues, and he has 92 hours of work pending on his bucket. That is 11 days he's occupied, right? So there are few things that we can tweak and then move it to a next one. but he has only 9 issues. That's the point. There should be a set threshold limit for everybody in the team, so that the Kanban board won't explode when we are assigning the tickets. Like you can see a long chain. Imagine this: if this is a physical board, so you have like 10 to 20, 14 tickets, 14 stick notes that will be hanging on the board, and then second day the gum might have gone, and then two of them will go home, and we need to find them and get them written something else, some is written on again on the stick notes, and then put it on the board as a tedious task. But that's the beauty of a tool, Kanban tool. But since it looks chaotic from a managerial point of view, but if I filter on what particular person, there is only one ticket pending in his backlog, and there is nothing in progress, and the review is 0. Like if I'll just explain you this one. From new, I will assign it to the backlog, and they will pull. As I told you, it's a pull system, right? So the person will pull this ticket onto an in progress, like I'm doing now. So it maybe I'm not authorized to do that. It is somebody else's ticket, so it is not allowing me. It's also right based. So we can pull that ticket that is assigned to you into in progress, and then they work on it. So people understand that they are working on this particular ticket, and then it is in progress now. And then once he finished it, he can. I'll show you the flow as well in a minute. The flow also in a minute. So it's in progress, and then I worked on it, and I can move it to review state, where the next in our particular process, it has to be reviewed by an SME, and then it will be closed, confirming the requester that they have achieved it. So there is a dependency column is there. If anything is stuck here, it will go to your dependency. When I show you the workflow, you will understand it. So just understand the board for the moment. And then when it is complete, after reviewer finishes this, it goes to a complete state here. So this is about the Kanban board. How to create it and how to implement that in the Kanban board. So how do we change it? We can pull it to one board to one column to another column, or we can simply change the status here. This is the status column to do or a reject or something, and then it will go automatically and then sit in these Kanban boards, right? So how will a new person know like what I should do about what I should do? So for that, what we did is like we wrote a governance workflow here. Like how do we actually work on it? So we have created a page on Confluence, which is again a product from Atlassian, who has given the Jira board. And then we have written our process here, like how do we tackle with each oh, it went off. Okay, so how do we tackle with each one of these attributes in this form? What to fill in it, and what will happen? And I said, what are the states that ticket can be, and how do we do it? So we have written our ways of working on this sheet, and then it is made available to all the team members. It is very important to understand that this is not a standard process or a guidelines given by the Kanban itself. Like there is no a set of rules that we should follow like religiously and then do this one. So the rules are those which we set for ourselves as a team. These are the rules, or these are the ways of working rather than rules. These are the ways of working that we created for ourselves to do these activities and deliver what is expected, input versus output, and this is all in between, as I said before. And this is the flow I was talking about. I'll show you the flow in a second. But this is the Kanban board, how we planned it. New, any of the open status cases will go to new, and to do and review status will go to backlog. Work in progress will be in progress column, and in code review will go to review, and on hold awaiting request or awaiting SME will go to the dependency board, and completed, rejected or done will go to the completed state. Okay, this is the status I'm talking about, which when I open that, it will move the board based upon the status that I'm showing here, right? So hope you understand that. I can't hear you, but still. And this is the process we follow. Quickly, I'll just go through it and then finish it off. So open state to review state, and review to do, and to do to work in progress, and work in progress to in code review and done. And others, as I told you, like if there is anything that is that we should not do this activity because of any factors like social, political, or dependency, whatever, like hold on at a company level, it will go to an whole state. Or awaiting requester means what they have written is unclear, then we'll be keeping it in awaiting requester, where we need more inputs from the requester. Where awaiting SME is like we have consulted somebody else to somebody else other than the requester to give some inputs. So that will be kept in awaiting SME state. So these are the rules. When we start simple, like a simple Kanban board, like to do in progress and in progress and done. So this is what we can create depending upon the request that we are getting, and a way to handle them. With a short time possible, I cannot complete it and then make you understand it. But things can get complex, but the rules and the principles and the values won't change. That's the primary idea of getting into this demo. Like I can give you more details on that one. So simply, if I have to summarize that, we created a form from how we can get inputs, and we created a board where we can move these things, Kanban board, where we can deliver the output for the input given, and close it and give the output, and our ways of working, what is the rules or the book that we need to follow, how we can use the Kanban board. That is all clearly set here. So this is what is expected. So no, we know what to do now, right? So I'll move to the PPT again. I think I'm running out of time. So how Kanban is done? It's very important to understand the pitfalls as well. So first of all, apart from the 5 that you see, the standard pitfalls, you need to understand that people understanding the process is very important. And then read the ways of working written already, or start writing and improving it bit by bit, and then make it useful for everybody. That is very important. Mindset is very important than knowing the process, right? Once you are in the mindset, that will not be a pitfall anymore. Like my experience I given you. When I entered the office, nothing was. I don't know anything what is happening there. So that's the first failure. That's why we failed then, right? Visualizing the workflow. Visualize the workflow in the process and the state of each item as it moves through the system. We need to visualize that first of all mentally. If the stick notes is dropping, we cannot understand it, right? So visualization is very important. The limit work in progress, actually. So when you have seen the managerial board, so you saw so many things in it, but for at an individual levels, it was much simpler, right? So we need to know how many we can pull into our buckets to do that. Limits work in progress. So there should be a threshold, like I can only take 40 hours of work and else move it to another board or another team or anything as per the rules that were set by, as per the rules that we all discussed and set for this process, and then manage flow, the flow, monitor how each item flows through each state in the system. Does it flow quickly? Is the flow between the states smooth? That needs to be understood a lot, just moving it without fulfilling it or doing some malpractice or trying to fool people will not work. We need to trust each other. Trust is another factor to for its success, and make process policies explicit. Be explicit about how much of work may be in progress in each state and what the rules are for work to move between the states. That needs to be very clear. As I showed you the ways of working on the Confluence page, it was already taken care by them. But if you are starting a project, if you are in a project where this is missing, you need to really work on that and improve collaboration. If you don't talk to each other, which is the main value of agile, it won't work. The teams works together to improve the flow of the system based on empirical data. It's a very big word for the agile world, empirical data, but we don't have time to deal with it. Please Google it. What is the empirical process of agile, right? So all done. All done. This is just a overview and a pretty basic stuff that I have shown. So when you get to your own projects based on the needs, you need to dig deep into the problem statement and adapt, modify. Most of the things can be handled at a tool level. The tool people can guide, like Jira can guide you how to tackle a particular situation. You need to consult them, or there are forums where you can put these on forums, and they can give you the tips on how we can handle it. More than anything, talk with your team, understand what's the best way from their side. There you will be astonished to with the ideas that the team gives you. Until you talk, you cannot get it. Face-to-face talking is very important. So read the principle. That's why I was stressing on the principle at the starting of the session. Fine, I think I'm done with my presentation, and I have done enough. I think I have done enough for this particular session, which was very brief. And I hope I've taken you to the mindset of Agile and Kanban now. So I'm open to any questions. Like, I don't know how I can go through the questions, but if Rupali can help me out, I'll be glad to answer them.
Yeah, Shriram, there are two questions.
Yeah.
It is Salil is asking, when technology is unknown and requirements are unclear, then how is estimation handled?
Yeah. Okay. So I think I've explained it. When things are unknown, there is something to do, right? It is not there is no straightforward answer for that, but still we have to divide the requirements into something that we can put in our Kanban board. If the requirements are unclear, it won't even hit this board. It will be at the POs, at a product owner level. It will be in the product owner board or in the business analyst board. It depends on who you are in this board. If you are a product owner, yes, then you need to dig more into the requirements, understand it until it can be estimated. Hope I answer it.
Okay. Yeah, and one more question he has asked is, how is the schedule maintained in the absence of a sprint?
Schedule is like, as I told you, the guidance, the guidelines that we framed here has a section, or should have a section on how we can release it. The projects change from the projects are different from one thing to other. Where if there is a release to happen, if you are in a in a new product line, if you're creating, if you're using Kanban for a newer product where the vision is converted into a product, then you can set a limit for your Kanban board. Like after every 3 weeks, I'll move whatever is done into the pipeline, into the production. It's we can use the word iteration here. We can get a fixed iteration, or it depends on the demand. If I need a particular feature which is on the Kanban board now, then I'll try to pull it to the done state, and then I'll ship it as soon as I get it to the done state. Or I can set a rule that I will release irrespective of what is done or not. I have to move everything to production only after a month. It's all the guidelines that we set for ourselves and the team, and it depends on the availability, understanding of that one. It is maintained on a different Kanban board. Maybe your manager Kanban board or Kanban board.
Okay, so I hope it answers your question, Salil. And Sriram, there's one more question: difference between Scrum board and Kanban board.
Okay. The Scrum board and Kanban board, board wise, it looks the same. I'll show you an example for that as well. It's a good question actually. So the process only changes. The idea of a board is not so different. So if you talk about the active sprint thing, we still use the similar one like a Kanban board. But why it is called as a Scrum when we are using a Kanban board here? The ideology is like the sprints is a short cycle. I put the user stories or the requirements into a Scrum board only when the team needs that particular. I'll phrase it differently. When we set our rule says that after every sprint, I have something to ship to the customer, right? It board is the same. The ideology of when and how we manage these boards, like in a small iteration, differs. I have as I said earlier, just give me 1 minute. I'm rephrasing myself to explain you better. Just give me 1 quick minute. Kanban breaks the product into batches and decrease the batch size, as I said earlier, right? But Scrum breaks down the product to smaller chunks that can be delivered in smaller iterations. The length of the iteration differs in Kanban and Scrum, but the board looks the same, right? Hope I answered it.
Yeah, I think so, Anand. I hope it answers your question. And Sriram, no further question. So thank you so much.
Thanks,
And
it's a
yeah.
pleasure. If it is
Wait.
an
Yeah. Yes. So hello everyone. We have our PMI Mumbai chapter president in this session, Mr. Jacob. And Jacob, may I request you to please give the vote of thanks?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Rupali. Thank you very much, Srinivas. It's been a wonderful presentation that I went through the full thing. It has been Sriram, sorry. It has been a great experience to know the very many flavors of Agile. For me, people like me who belong to the waterfall method, it still requires a lot of mental shifting to understand the concepts of Agile practices and all the other flavors of Agile practice. Sriram, you can see on the screen the certificate, which is electronically being transferred to you. So we are doing it in very agile mode. So you get it on the spot. And thank you very much, Biren, Tarek, and myself. We take this opportunity to thank. Now, all these people who have attended this, there are about 60 of us here present now. And the PITSTOP has been a roaring success. We have had Jira, we had MS Project, and now we have Kanban. All technical aspects which have been discussed and threadbare in 1 hour. 1 hour is too less a time, of course, but then it's a good starting point. People do come together, and we see a lot of people coming and hearing this and going away and getting your PDUs. Incidentally, you get your PDUs. It will come up on the screen so that you can check your PDUs. No mail will be sent to you separately for PDUs. So these PDUs come to you, and then that is it. So I would like to know, okay, how exactly are you getting along with your interactions with the chapter? Because you have become a member of the chapter, and therefore you need to know, we need to know what is the feedback in real terms, not just we are very happy, or you give 5 out of 5 or something like that, and then it looks very nice on the statistics board. But exactly, if you can call us up, call Biren, myself, Rupali, or anybody, it will be great, or any of the committee members, any of the board members. And that reminds me, we are in the process of creating all the committees. We are on the process of creating the AVPs, as Assistant Vice President. Many of you have come in recently. You have joined the chapter. Please take this opportunity to enter any committee as an administrative form. It is not a very big thing. It doesn't give you a lot of bandwidth. It's just a little bit of bandwidth that you require extra. And you get a lot of PDUs because there are so much activities happening in the administrative field. And one more thing before I leave you, we need a lot of articles. So many of you might be good at writing. So please do write to our Prakalp magazine. We need people to apply write to the Prakalp magazine. So if you have any more doubts, you can call up Biren or myself, Jacob, and we will tell you more about it. Just send the article to us, and we will publish it after we go through the criteria of editing it and looking at it. So there is a PDU code out there. Biren, I think I have touched upon everything. Thank you very much. Once again, we have had a wonderful crowd here. It's very good to have you all here. Have a good night. Thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you once again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Sriram. I hope everyone has filled the feedback form, and this is the PDU code for the session.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Sriram.
Thank
you,
you.
everyone, and good night to all. See you next month. Bye.
Bye.